What your god says about you. Warrior Edition.
Achilles.
You don't really want to play a warrior. You're to a warrior what Saket is to assassins. You want to do massive damage but somehow still build half tank. That's pretty greedy if you ask me. There's a good chance your personality slightly resembles that of the character you're playing. If it does, get some help, man. You have never actually considered swapping stances in late game. You lock into your stance and then you stick to it. No compromise. If you play Achilles support, you clearly didn't want to play support and end up choosing the only character that can somehow be a support without being one. There are two types of you. You're either a long-term armor player or a recent Nike refugee now that she's no longer team focused. By the way, if you're only playing armor because she's strong right now, you're not really an armor main. People think you genuinely enjoy playing a supportive character and like helping out your team and they appreciate you. The reality is that you just like to zoom around and never get caught, not even by CC. Because for some reason your character, while being a tank, has like half an hour of CC immunity.
Bologna.
You definitely have a thing for butch girls. Whenever people ask you about your opinion on the meta, you sound like a grandpa, or grandma rather. We don't discriminate here. Back in my day, Bologna and Xingtian used to dominate the meta. Back in my day, Death Toll was a core item. Here's your wake-up call. Your god is actually really good right now. If you keep losing, it's on you. Also, you're still the person who ruined Bakasura's solo forever and I will not forgive you for that.
Shock.
You started playing warriors in solo, picked Shark for 2 games, and did well there against new players. Then you got stuck. Right in that moment of time. And you never tried anything new, ever again. You picked the Slaughterhouse skin once and found out that it gathers blood with every single kill. Then you got stuck. Right in that moment of time. And you never tried anything new, ever again.
Who calling?
You keep complaining about how your god has been useless for the entire season. Guess what? He's actually not that bad. Maybe instead of complaining, you should consider that there's a large array of new items that are actually really good for your character. You know what? I'm sorry. Not that I really am, but I'm gonna stop before you start raging because you still haven't worked on your anger management. You know those memes about basic white girls? That's you. Your character is basic. He's got a basic look, he's got basic abilities, and basic attacks, I guess. Everything very basic. To this day, you still miss the time when the haste was in his one. It's not coming back, buddy. No matter if you're low or high in the meta, no one ever really seems to like you. You're probably expecting some snarky joke as to why that is the case, but I honestly can't tell you. Maybe it's the obnoxious voice pack. Maybe it's you picking him in support when you clearly didn't want the role but didn't want to quite commit to the obvious Achilles pick. Maybe it's because you picked him in jungle again and went 3-12 because you built full damage and horribly fell off as soon as the early game was over. Come to think of it, there are actually quite a few reasons to dislike you.
One you.
You have at least once played I'll make a man out of you while playing Smite. Maybe you even do it daily. When communicating in voice chats, most of you is just repeating Yuanyu's voice lines. Our deed shall be written in legends. I will not let you fall. Unless you're playing with friends, you will never ever cancel your ult early. Gotta min-max that damage, even if it means missing half of the hits. Trust me, I know. Bit of the overzealous type.
Hercules.
You can push 2 buttons in a row and therefore consider yourself a mechanical god. The first time you used Shield of Regrowth and your 3, you thought you were the biggest innovator that Smite had ever seen, until finding out that 100 people had already done it. You're a bit of a masochist because you honestly enjoy getting spanked for hours while barely surviving. Getting a boulder kill over the wall makes something happen in your pants. You think you're tough, but there's a super easy way to make you cry. One just needs to remind you that you weren't around for the Retroclass skin and you have no chance of ever getting it.
Horace.
You're not a real warrior player. You're 90% likely to be more of a support guardian type player and 10% chance you're just playing a one-shot meme build. You wish you were a guardian so you could build guardian items. You genuinely enjoy helping other players, maybe more than some actual guardian support mains. Nothing beats using a 3 to block an ult on an ally. You're ready to make the hottest plays with your ult and place them perfectly for the ideal setup just for them to fail miserably because no one of your team entered your teleport. You genuinely don't care about complex ability mechanics, which is why you're okay with your whole kit having exactly one forced real combo.
King Arthur.
Wow, so you can roll your face on your keyboard. Everyone is impressed. No, really, some people might actually be impressed because at this point, playing King Arthur well actually isn't as easy as it seems. Unfortunately for you, the only people who would be impressed are other King Arthur mains, because from the outside, it still looks like you're just randomly mashing buttons. They'll respect you one day. Maybe.
Nike.
Let's just get this out of the way. Insert any stupid joke about the shoe brand here. Your big thing used to be letting your team carry the game for you and sitting on a high win rate with minimal effort. Smart thinking. Now your big thing is pushing people into the corner and running, can I one-shot this with my old builds that require you to go into full damage and play jungle. You could actually be a very useful team player and block enemy projectiles, but you have decided to exclusively use all your abilities for direct boxing instead. Ironically, it kinda works out for you because your character is now strong enough to do that. Something you still need to get used to as a long-term Nike main.
Odin.
You were a normal player with a large god pool one day. Then you ran into one too many 10-star Hells or Aphrodites. That day changed you, and you came back with a vengeance, swearing to make those characters' lives hell, even if that means being in an unfavorable matchup every time they're not in the match. I understand you're hurt. Patch 7.1 will either bring you much needed help or make you quit the game forever. Remove Phantom.
Osiris.
So, I was gonna talk about Osiris. Okay, but who even still plays Osiris? I know you guys are out there somewhere, but why? Is it the anti-heal? You can just use the cat or Odin. You don't need to do this to yourself. There isn't even much to say about your character's kit. It's not super basic like Erlang, but it's very straightforward. All I can really say is keep doing your thing or something, I guess. Raven. Oh, right. About that one.
Son Wukong.
Remember how Bellona players sound like grandmas? Yeah, you're the grandpa to that. Back in my days, we used to have Bluestone on Sun Wukong and it used to be absolutely OP. If there's one thing you despise, it's people who only abuse Sun Wukong picks when he is broken and cause him to get nerfed. People like me. For some reason, you still think that Sun Wukong is a sleeper OP pick. I don't know why you think that, but hey, if it works for you. You're also kinda mad that Chur got his second knockup back, but you didn't get the one on your 2. And speaking of,
Dear.
you used
We don't have time for jokes.
Okay, no, we're not doing this again. This time we're doing it for real. You used to disgust me. Now you just annoy me. You're significantly more annoying when you're not in Conquest though. You're really like the annoying little sibling that comes everywhere and goes everywhere and no one really wants them around. The sad thing is, statistically speaking, even now most of you aren't doing that well. So I can't even say that you got an OP buff handed to you or that you were begging for a buff you didn't deserve or anything like that. While you wish you were and you identify with your super serious character, you're actually a lot more like Manny.
Vomit.
Having a bit of a rough time lately there, eh? Well, that's okay. Different from people who stick to dull characters, your character can actually be entertaining in a lot of ways. First of all, you can turn into a giant version of yourself. How cool is that? Then you also have the option to go full meme with little mana or soothe your whole team with serenity. Unfortunately, being entertaining but not very impactful realistically means that you're a clown. But at least you're a nice clown. Also, considering you're playing a character that for the longest time looked like a big baby, you probably don't take all too much offense in that. As a fellow Vaman/Vamana fan, neither do I. Congratulations, you made it to the end. If you don't know me yet, my name is DukeSloth, and I make these videos on the regular. So, if you want to stay updated for the next ones, for the roles that we haven't covered, feel free to click the sub button and the bell so you get a notification for it. Outside of that, you can also check out the Assassin one that I already made. I will link that somewhere at the top and at the end screen. And I also made this series once before a very long time ago, so basically the updated version with all the new gods. If you want to see the old versions as well, they will all be linked in a playlist. Let me know in the comments down below if I described your main accurately. And other than that, thank you for watching. I hope to see you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.